They tried everything to stop it, shouting on the House floor, fear-mongering on TV, throwing every dirty trick that they had at President Donald Trump's plan to finally slash taxes on Social Security. But today, guys, they absolutely failed. That's right. Congress just passed what Trump's call his big, beautiful bill. This is a bold move that gives millions of seniors a $6,000 tax cut on their Social Security, and it locks in relief that crooked career politicians like AOC and Hakeem Jeffries did everything that they could to block. So while Americans were begging for relief, these so-called leaders, they wanted to keep squeezing retirees dry. But President Trump and his team just torched every single excuse that they threw out. In fact, the White House made them look like amateurs. And if you think that that's big, wait until you hear what comes next. So in today's video, I want to break down exactly how President Trump outplayed every desperate stall tactic that the Democrats tried to use, how this $6,000 break really works for you and for your family. You're not going to want to miss that. And of course, the brutal truth about what Jeffries and AOC didn't want you to know about your Social Security money. Anybody here watching the show receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI? Let me know. Now, stick with me until the end because I want to show you exactly how this single tax cut, how this single tax elimination could actually spark a chain reaction without any kind of hidden taxes on your tips, your overtime, even your side hustle, all while the Democrats stand there with nothing but excuses and some empty slogans. So if you're tired of the lies, I want you to drop a 47 in the comments right now to show you stand with President Trump's plan to give our seniors what they actually earn. So go ahead and smash the like button for more people to be able to see the truth like you're seeing the truth today, whenever you happen to be watching this. And make sure you stay locked in because what I'm about to share and reveal next is going to make you see just how far the left has really fallen. All right, so let's talk about it. First, I want to get clear on where we stand right now because this moment did not happen by accident, okay? So just one day before our country's greatest Independence Day, and this timing really could not have been any more symbolic. Right now, President Donald J. Trump is back in the White House, and he's doing exactly what he promised to do. He's giving power and money back to the American people, starting with our seniors who have spent decades paying into the system only to watch a bunch of crooked politicians try to drain them dry. I mean, you guys are seeing this. Now, this morning, Congress officially passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. This is a massive package that delivers the single largest tax cut for seniors in modern history. And the Democrats, they fought tooth and nail every step of the way, just trying to stop this thing from happening. Now I'm talking about the folks like Hakeem Jeffries and AOC. They screamed on the floor. They tried these different procedural stunts. They tried scare tactics about the deficit, all trying to protect the same bloated taxes that have squeezed working Americans for way too long. But here's what they didn't count on. Trump's team was locked in. They set a hard deadline. Get this done by July 4th or don't come home. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty hard deadline. And they got it done, sending the bill to President Trump's desk to sign on Independence Day. So this means that we are about to officially break free from unfair taxes that have robbed our seniors for decades. And this is just a start. And if you think that the symbolism is big, wait until you see what this tax cut actually means for your wallet, because this next part is exactly how this $6,000 Social Security break really works. Now, let's go ahead and break this down so that you know exactly where this money goes. When President Trump came back, he promised to fully eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. You guys remember that, right? Because nobody should be paying Uncle Sam twice for money they already earned, right? I mean, isn't that like double taxation? But thanks to the old swamp rules, the reconciliation process, and partisan gridlock, the final version comes out to a $6,000 tax deduction for every American age 64 and up, or $12,000 if you're a couple filing jointly together. Now, if you're bringing in less than $75,000 a year or $150,000 for couples, you get the full benefit. After that, it phases out. So this doesn't necessarily line the pockets for billionaires as they claimed. It puts cash right back where it belongs, with seniors who actually paid into the system. Now, the best part here, this actually covers an estimated 88% of seniors in America. So the biggest senior tax relief that we've ever seen. And it means that you or your parents can work part-time. You can earn a little bit more on the side and not get hammered by Washington's greedy tax machine. Oh, and yet, while this money heads straight to everyday Americans, the same folks who claim to care about the middle class, the AOCs, Jeffries, all of those guys, they did everything that they could to try to kill this thing. Why is that if they so-called care about the middle class, right? So how desperate did they get? How did they try to sabotage this? Well, guys, there's nothing worse than paying more than you should and not even knowing it. That's even worse than that. And this is why I decided to partner with Chapter to go ahead and pull the blindfold off of folks like us. Leslie Taylor did it. She said, Ron, I saved $1,000 every year. I was shocked when they found that. Wow. Nancy, age 78, she said she's living on a tight budget. Chapter just saved me $600 a year. That savings may help me stay in my home. You know, that's an absolute blessing and nothing short of that, guys. But no wonder. Know for sure. Give our friends at Chapter a call right now and see what they can do for you. It's totally free. There's absolutely no charge, no pressure, just some friendly people on the other end of the line waiting to help my YouTube audience. So give our friends a call at 909-563-8279. Phone number's down below, or hit the link down below in the pinned comment at askchapter.org/Ron and see how much money you can save. So we know the bill passed. We know seniors win big, but you still need to see just how desperate the other side got to stop you from keeping more of your money. So when word got out that President Trump's $6,000 Social Security tax cut was real and it was moving fast, the usual suspects did exactly what they always do: panic, distort, and smear. Hakeem Jeffries, the same guy who promised to fight for working families, spent hours on the House floor. Hours, guys. This was just a tax break for billionaires, is what he was saying. Really, Hakeem? Since when are our seniors on fixed incomes billionaires? Do I have any billionaires watching me right now, watching the show right now? Any billionaires, guys? He knew it wasn't true, but the plan was simple: try to scare the public into thinking that Trump was robbing the treasury for the rich. And of course, AOC just couldn't help herself. She piled on, warning that this would hurt the country fiscally. Man, please. Like she knows anything about fiscal accountability. Funny how the same people who sign trillion-dollar blank checks for bloated government suddenly pretend to care about spending when it's your money staying in your pocket. You see how they do this, right? So here's where they completely failed, though, because the final vote told the whole story: 218 to 214. Despite all the screaming, the hooting, the hollering, the drama, the spin, Republicans held firm. President Trump was on the phone late into the night calling fence sitters, answering every question, closing every gap. Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Thune did what the last Congress never could. They united moderates and conservatives, Freedom Caucus, and fresh faces, all under one clear mission: get this thing done now. So while AOC and Jeffries threw a tantrum, pretty much threw themselves on the floor like a 4-year-old, the American people got a win. And this is just the start of how badly the White House burned their empty arguments to the ground. Because if you think that a tight vote was the only blow, wait until you hear exactly what the White House said next and how they exposed how far the modern left has fallen from the days of Bill Clinton. Guys, this part's going to make your jaw drop. So here's the line that's probably going to go down in history. They've fallen so far. That's how the Economic Council, the National Economic Council director, described today's Democratic Party, and he's right. Remember, there was a time when even Bill Clinton said the era of big government is over. And now the people running the show, Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, the far left, they want everything taxed. They want to tax your overtime, your tips, your Social Security. They want to tax the air you breathe. Okay, they would rather block relief for seniors that admit Trump was right to let you keep what you earned. In the press briefing right after the vote, the White House didn't hold back. They laid it all out. Democrats are on record demanding higher taxes on retirement income. They're on record fighting to keep the border wide the heck open and the labor market flooded with cheap illegal work. And they're on record lying to your face about who really benefits from these tax cuts. So the next time you hear AOC crying on social media about the billionaires, I want you to remember who she really tried to punish today. AOC tried to punish your parents, your grandparents, maybe even you, and it backfired spectacularly. And so, you see how they failed to block this thing. But here's the part mainstream media will not spell out for you. The $6,000 Social Security break isn't just one standalone line in some big, boring tax code. It's part of something much bigger that President Trump's pushing right now. So this new bill, it's a clear piece of what President Trump's calling his America First supply explosion. Now, what does that mean? Well, what does it mean for you? I think it means it's pretty obvious. This is more production, more jobs, less Washington middleman stealing your paycheck. And the proof is sitting right there in the bill that they just tried to kill. So let's stack it up. The same law locks in no tax on your tips. So if you're a server, if you're a bartender, a hairstylist, you get to keep what you earn, not fork it over to Washington, D.C. And the same goes for your overtime. If you put in those extra hours to pay the bills or to stash something for the kids, maybe even put into your retirement fund, plan for a weekend or a vacation, it really doesn't matter what you do with the money. The IRS doesn't get to grab more of your sweat. Gone, right? Then, of course, there's the expanded child tax credit, bumped up to $2,200 to help working families handle inflation and some school costs. And do not forget, the standard deduction stays nearly doubled, protecting everyone from low income earners to the middle class, keeping more money under your roof, not theirs. Now, all of these pieces come together to unleash what Trump's White House calls real supply growth. Instead of raising taxes to feed these bureaucrats, they're slashing taxes so that you have more cash to spend, to save, to invest, or build. And it's working. Over 2 million new American jobs since Trump returned back to the Oval Office, even with illegal labor going down by 500,000. Meanwhile, inflation, which ballooned under Biden, has dropped below the Federal Reserve's 2% target. That's not magic. That is production. That's jobs. That's what happens when you let families keep more of their money and free businesses to expand. So when AOC cries about billionaires, remember who really won today. Because it wasn't Wall Street. It wasn't the global elite. It was the same seniors that the swamp ignored for decades. Now, of course, I'm about to smash this whole myth wide open. All right. So the $6,000 Social Security tax break doesn't hand out favors to billionaires. Why? Because billionaires don't rely on Social Security. They just don't. I mean, they're billionaires. Anyway. So they don't get crushed by double taxation on fixed benefits. Okay. But your parents do, your grandparents do, and maybe even you too. Let me know if this is you, if this sounds like your situation, maybe your grandparents or your parents' situation. So guys, this relief targets the millions of everyday seniors who worked 40, 50 years, paid into the system, and then got punished at tax time for daring to take their own benefits. It's the same seniors who maybe want to pick up a part-time shift to help their grandkids pay for college, but didn't bother because every extra penny was getting clawed back in taxes. That ends now. So when you hear Jeffries moaning and groaning that it hurts the country fiscally, translate that into it means the swamp doesn't like when you don't fund their bloated agencies with your retirement money. That's really what it means. They want you taxed to the bone. Trump wants you free. He wants you free to keep what you've earned. Is that fair? Can I get a 47 on that one, right? And so it wasn't just smart policy. It was smart politics too. So how did this thing actually survive the swamp stall tactics? How did a razor thin House margin not sink it in the final hours? Well, This is what you're about to see. This is where you see the real difference between the empty slogans and real leadership, guys. See, President Trump doesn't just toss this idea out there and hope for the best. This man slammed a hard July 4th deadline down on the table, and he said this months ago. Get it done for the American people or explain why you didn't. Now, that deadline squeezed every excuse out of every backbencher looking to drag their feet. Behind the scenes, Trump was hands on deck, all hands on deck. Late night, Oval Office calls. I'm talking direct check-ins with the holdouts who were nervous about backlash or nitpicking side clauses. He answered every question himself. No middleman, no nonsense. He made it clear. Vote for seniors or get ready to explain your betrayal to your voters back home. Speaker Mike Johnson, he stepped up big time. He didn't have a huge cushion. The House flipped this by just 4 votes. Now, this is nothing in DC math, but Johnson and Majority Leader Thune, they locked arms with moderates and Freedom Caucus rebels and swing district Republicans from blue states who needed this win. No leaks, no backstabs. That's rare. And so while Jeffries droned on and on about billionaires and fiscal cliffs, Trump's team ran circles around him and they unified Republicans to deliver what the country actually asked for. Promises made, promises kept. And look at the date, because this next part matters more than people realize. This wasn't just about taxes. It was about freedom, symbolic freedom, and it's landing right on our national birthday. Now, here's why that matters. Because tomorrow, when President Trump signs this big, beautiful bill into law, it's not just a signature on the page. It's a message. The era of punishing working people is over. No more seniors double tax while DC lectures them on equity. No more paycheck bleeding for the people who built this country. This lands on Independence Day for a reason, because seniors have been stuck paying for the political class's spending sprees for too long. And so now they get real independence, freedom to earn, freedom to keep what they've earned, freedom from the swamp's forever debt. And so while AOC posts these cryptic tweets about billionaires and Jeffries pouts about losing control, millions of American seniors, they're going to wake up on July 4th knowing they finally get a piece of their freedom back. And this is what President Trump said when he promised to put America first. And this is just the start. All right. So you stuck with me this far, guys. Here's what you need to know next. This is not some future wish list, folks. This is real and this is done. So July 4th, President Donald J. Trump will sign the big, beautiful bill into law right at the White House. And if you think that the Democrats are sweating now, wait until you hear what's next. Now, word is the White House will hold a full ceremony, turning the signing into a major slap in the face for the people who called it impossible. We're talking people like Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, who spent the last 48 hours filibustering, fear-mongering, and pretending you don't deserve a break. Now, after the pen hits the page, the $6,000 Social Security tax deduction becomes law of the land. The IRS has to honor it starting with the next tax season. And that means seniors, couples, and anyone who's on fixed income who still files taxes immediately keeps more in their pocket. Not a decade from now. Okay? So here's a hint. This isn't the last time that you're going to see the White House torch these swamp stallers. Reports say President Trump plans to hammer them again and again and again on every stage, reminding every voter exactly who stood in the way of relief for our seniors. So, guys, you gotta be fired up. I mean, you can see Trump is fired up. I don't even know if he's going to be able to sleep tonight. So as you fire up the grill tomorrow or you watch the fireworks lighten up the sky, I want you to remember this year's Independence Day is double sweet. You know, it's a freedom moment for America and for every senior who just got back what they earned, right? So here's where we land. This fight proves one thing. Trump and his team are smart enough to outmaneuver the swamp, strategic enough to hold a fragile house together, and compassionate enough to put American families ahead of lobbyists and career hacks. And what did the other side do? Well, they exposed themselves. They just showed how far they have fallen. From the days of Bill Clinton saying that the era of big government is over to today's new crew basically screaming about, trying to tax your tips, your overtime, your Social Security, just so that they can keep their swamp alive. Well, not anymore, guys. Not on Trump's not on Trump's watch. So, guys, if you are real glad to see real relief into being signed into law tomorrow, I want you to drop a 47 in the comments right now. Tap the like button if you stand with keeping more of what you earn, and share this video with a senior who deserves to hear what's really happening. Because at the end of the day, America wins when families win, seniors win, workers win. And no matter how loud the critics scream, this is exactly what's happening right now. So happy Independence Day, happy July 4th. God bless our seniors, and God bless the United States of America.